Okay, welcome everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Apex Tutors PSAF class, the build up for November 2025. I can't diet. I want to believe that this will be the 10th class for PSAF in this diet. And so I welcome you all once again. Before we proceed, I would like you to confirm if my audio is clear.
You are very clear.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, about 3 weeks ago, we started our discussion on preparation of financial statements for government institutions. And we started with the preparation of these financial statements based on cash basis, where we demonstrated the preparation of the components of financial statements under cash basis, which included the statement of assets and liabilities, statement of capital development fund, statement of consolidated revenue fund. And also last week, if I'm correct, we also discussed the preparation of financial statement for government using the accrual basis. And under that, the components required by IPSAS, specifically IPSAS 1, which is on presentation of financial statements, requires that government entities should prepare a statement of financial position, statement of financial included the statement of accounting policies, the notes to the accounts, and so on. And fortunately, last week we were able to demonstrate the preparation of the statement of financial position and statement of financial performance for governments using the accrual basis. So today, even though our class will be a little bit short, so we'll quickly demonstrate the preparation of the cash flow statement. And like we said earlier, the cash flow statement does not have whether cash or accrual basis. The cash flow statement is prepared using a cash basis. So it is used to show the cash movements in an organization over a period of time. So it is meant to show the level of liquidity of the entity and how their cash moves over the period. That is sorry, I've not shared any screen. I've not shared any screen yet. So how they receive cash and how they make payments. Right? So, and this cash flow statement, I think I mentioned it earlier as well, that the way it is prepared in for a private concern is still the way it is prepared for a public sector organization. So there's not really much difference. The only difference is in the contents that are there, the nature of the items that are there, because of course the nature of transactions that we have in the public sector organization will be different from the nature of transactions that we have in the private sector organization. So that's what really differentiates the way cash flow statement will look like, the way Madam Jamila must have taken you through in your FR, and the way and the one we'll be looking at tonight. So the cash flow statement, like it prepared, is prepared under three headings, which are the cash flows from operating activities, cash flows from financing activities, investing activities, and cash flows from financing activities. Now, cash flow from operating activities is meant that part of the cash flow statement is meant to show the inflows and outflows of the organization arising from their regular activities, their regular operations. So now in the government sector, we are talking about the regular activities, the regular transactions that the government does that generates inflows and outflows. When we say inflows, that is money coming in, that is cash or cash equivalents. And when we say outflow, it means cash or cash equivalents, flowing out of the entity. When we say cash, we are referring to both the physical cash or the cash at bank. And when we say cash equivalent, we are referring to monetary instruments that can easily or quickly be turned to cash. Okay, so Amarachi, if you are not going to take time, can you quickly say what you want to say?
Yeah, good evening, sir. Sir, please, I can't see your screen. I don't know if it's my network.
No, we are not sharing screen yet. I'm not sharing any screen yet.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, so the cash flow from operating activities basically refers to the cash flows from the regular activities of an entity. All right. So in a public sector organization, for example, what are those things that government does that makes that that brings in money into the government coffers, and what are those things that they do that makes them spend money out? So those are the items that will be in the cash flows from operating activities. All right. Okay. So since people are requesting for screen, okay, let me just show the format that I showed earlier. It's actually in the notes that I've shared before, but let me just go to that format and let's follow from there. The format is just a screenshot from the study pack. Let me share this screen. Okay, we can see it now. All right. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it very well because of the color of this thing. Or maybe I should share it directly from the study pack. Yeah. So as I was saying, the cash flows from operating activity are the items that the government organization regularly engage in. Okay. Now, This part of the cash flow statement, you separate the inflows and then from the outflows. So first have the inflows at the top, and then the outflows will follow. And then you have the difference between the inflows and the outflow will give you the net cash flows from operating activity. Okay. Trying to go to the study pack so that maybe you can see it clearly. And then okay, almost there. Okay. Okay. All right. So as you can see, we have the cash flow from operating activities showing as is cash flows from operating activities, and this is showing the inflows, the receipts first. The receipts are the inflows, and you can see the items that regularly the government engage in that brings in money for them are what you just see there. That is their revenue from statutory allocation, their allocation from VAT, direct taxes, licenses, mining rents, royalties, fees, fines, sales, earnings, and so on and so forth. Now, there are outflows as well from regular activities, payments that they make for personnel costs, that is for salaries, sometimes when they contribution for pension, then other overhead charges, like maybe they pay for electricity, for rent, and all those other things, and so on. Sometimes they give subventions to other government, maybe the state government giving maybe a kind of subventions to parastatals, like maybe they are teaching hospitals, they are tertiary institutions, and so on. All those are regular activities that government do. So if it's a government institution that engages in sales as well, those ones will be the revenue they make from sales will be part of their inflows from operating activities, and so on, like that. And then we'll now have, so the difference between the inflow and the outflow will give us the cash flows from the net cash flows from operating activities. And then the second part will be the cash flows from investing activities. Now, these are activities that has to do with acquisition or disposal of non-current assets or investments. Okay, so when the entity acquires non-current assets, or they engage in constructions of assets, or they invest in other entities, maybe they invest in a particular company or business, and so on. These are investing activities. So the inflows and outflows that has to do with these kinds of transactions will be classified under cash flows from investing activities. So if they buy machines, they buy vehicles, they construct buildings, these are outflows. Then if they sell some of these assets that they have, they sell some of their investment, or they receive dividend from their investment, they receive interest from some of their investments, then those are inflows from investing activities. I'm sure we know all these things. I'm just trying to emphasize them. Then from financing activities, those are activities that has to do with the finance, like the equity, the interests of the owners in that entity. So we're talking about then those activities that has to do with giving out loans, or receiving loans rather. So those are financing activities. They get loans, the payback loans, and so on. So those are financing activities. So, and then by the time you have the net cash flows from operating activities, your net cash flows from investing activities, and that of financing activities, the addition of these three will give us the increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalents at the end of the period. That is for that period, the net cash for that period, for the year we got in. And then we'll now add the cash balance at the beginning of the year. We'll add it to it, and that will now result to the cash balance at the end of the year. Okay, so that is pretty much very simply what we need to do. So on that note, I want us to move to a question that I saw, one past question that I saw that we can quickly, just go through it, because my laptop battery is in red. I don't know how we're going to finish this class tonight with this battery. I forgot my charger at work. Shit. Okay, so let's check our Pathfinder for the May 2016 question. A piece of Pathfinder, May 2016, question 2. Hope we are together. If anybody have questions, you can quickly bring it up before we start the question. So May 2016 question 2. Quickly share and share. Okay, May 2016 question 2. Right. The one that concerns us now is the B part of that question 2B, and that question is asking us, they are giving us the records from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federal Democratic Republic of Nigeria for the year ended December 31, 2015. And we have the figures for 2015 as well as that of 2014. So they're giving us 2 years, and all the items are listed here. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I'm sharing. I'm sure we are seeing my screen. Okay. And the requirement is that we have to prepare a cash flow statement for the year ended December 31, 2015, using the direct method. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that. Okay, when we're talking about the cash flow statement, the cash flow statement is prepared using 2 methods. I'm sure we know that from our FR. I'm very sure Madam Jamila must have treated that with you in FR. Okay, so it is using the direct method or the indirect method. Now, the direct method is where you just bring in the items the gross amount of the items of inflows and outflows into your cash flow statement directly. That is, you bring in, you have sales, you bring in sales. You have a payment for overhead, you bring in payment for overhead. You have interest payment, you bring in interest payment directly. No tricky adjustments. But the indirect method is where you start your cash flow statement from the profit, or in this case now, you start from the surplus you get from your statement of financial performance. You bring it in as the start. So that is forming the basis for you to know the cash position of the organization. But you know that in calculating that surplus or profit, as the case may be, there have been some adjustments that is not recognized by cash flow statements. We said cash flow statement is a cash basis account. And in cash basis, any transaction that does not involve cash are not recognized. So which means you don't recognize the depreciation, you don't recognize amortization, and other transactions that does not involve movement of cash. Right? So transactions that have to do with payables and receivables are not recognized in forming the cash flow statement. So all those adjustments that have been made to arrive at the profits or surplus, as the case may be, will be adjusted, adjusted for, including the fact that that interest on loan is is an item of cash flows from financing activities, the interest you pay on loan that you have gotten. But that in preparation of a financial performance, you would have calculated that interest as part of expenses and deducted it from profit. So you have to adjust for that one as well. That's basically what the indirect method is about. However, for the purpose of PSAF, the International Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, that is the IPSAS board, has recommended that the direct method is what should be used by government agencies. Okay, so the IPSAS board recommends the direct method for government organizations. So I think that is why ICANN too has never tested the indirect method in PSAF. They have left that one for FR. So for the purpose of this class, we will not be taking time to be treating the indirect method. So we'll focus on the direct method only, since that is what is recommended by the IPSAS board. All right. So let's go back to that question. The question says we should prepare the cash flow statement for the Federal Republic of Nigeria using the direct method. So let's go to our Excel file. Federal Democratic Republic of Nigeria for the year ended. Okay. Okay. Of Nigeria. Cash flow statements for the year ended December 31, 2015. Okay. And also, if you check the question, we said we should show comparative figures. If you see the end of that question very well, this is very important. These are little details that is important for you. In reading your questions, always be very, very careful, because if you don't see this or you don't notice it and you just prepare your cash flow statement for 2015 alone, it's for 2015 they're asking, and you prepare it for 2015 alone without showing comparative figures, That is why some people will say, I did that work very well, I solved the questions very well, but still cannot they gave me. It's sometimes it's just unfortunate that little instructions like this that we overlook, or we just don't notice it, may cause issues like that. So God will help us. Let us always be very attentive to everything that they have written there. So even if it's not eventually useful for what you want to solve, just make sure you read every line. Don't just say that, okay, I've seen it, because you know that it's very human. It's very normal for you to just read it like this and just stop here. That prepare cash flow statement. Because you know how to prepare cash flow statement, you just jump inside and start preparing cash flow statement without noticing that fact that you are supposed to show comparative figures. So when they say you should show comparative figures, what they are just saying is that everything you are preparing for 2015, be showing the same thing for 2014 by the side of it. It's simple. That's just what they mean by show comparative figures. So let's get into it. So this is for 2015 that we need, and then the comparative figures for 2014 by the side of it, in million naira, and then in billion naira. Okay. Now we're starting with the cash flows from operating activities. Okay. So let's go into now we know that our cash flows from operating activities are those items that has to do with the regular activities of that organization. Okay, so all those items that we see that are regular activities of those organizations are what we want to pick. So let's give our headings first. Cash flows from operating activities. So the inflows first, inflows or receipts, anywhere you want to call it. So I give it a name for them to know that it is the money that comes in that you want to list now. Okay. Now we have the task. The biggest task in this kind of situation, which ones are items of operating activities, which ones are items of investing, which ones are. But let me give us a quick hint. If you can be very, very sure that you can identify items of financing and you can identify items of investing very, very well, then you know that the rest, there is no four. There's no fourth one. There are only three. So you use the elimination method. If you can identify the financing ones very well, you know that financing are those ones that has to do with loans, items of loans. Okay. And then the investing are those ones that has to do with non-current assets and then investments. So if you can identify those two headings, you know that the remaining transactions, they are operating activities. So you now be left with identifying which one is inflow and outflow. And I believe at this level, as an accountant, that one should not be a problem for you. So let's look at this question and see if you can identify items of operating activities, which are inflows. If you remember the formats that we showed earlier, in our format, it showed us that in the inflows for operating activities, in the inflows, which is receipts, we're supposed to have the allocation from FAC, then from VAT, and then others like taxes and licenses and so on. So let's see if you can see allocation from FAC and VAT. So the first item is even VAT. So that's very good. It's very easy for us. So value-added tax receipts, pick that one, 1,721,250. So for 2015, 1,721,250. And then for 2014, actually, I'll just show for a few. I'll not show for all of them. So it will be taking too much time. 1,647,000. So if you are practicing this on your own, 647, they will be showing the two. So I'll just show for all of them. So we have seen one that we are looking for. So we are moving. Then the next is, let's see if there's allocation from FAC. This is miscellaneous revenue, personal income tax, allocation of cost of collection. Okay, this is personnel costs. This is statutory allocation. Yes. So this is their share of statutory allocation. 10,125,000. 10,125,000. Okay. So we can now bring other items that we see that there are inflows, one, and then there are operating activities, that is, they are regular activities. What we mean is that they are not investing activities and they are not financing activities. Good. Okay. From the top, we have taken this. This is miscellaneous revenue. Okay, good. This is an operating activity. That is other. It means other revenues. So it's an operating activity. 281,250. Okay. 281,250. Then go back again. Let's see. We have personal income from taxes. Okay. Let's take it. 7,875,000. 7,875. Okay. Then the next item here, allocation of cost of collection. Allocation. My battery. Good. Allocation of collection costs. Okay. Let me quickly go back to it. So this is what is going to happen. Is there anyone that is also using a computer to follow the class that can be posting for us on Excel and be sharing the screen? And the person will be sharing the screen. Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Unfortunately, I'm not using laptop.
Okay. Is there anybody that can? I need a volunteer to be posting for us on Excel. My battery is running out. I have to switch to my phone now, so I will not be able to post to show that on my phone. So somebody can offer to be posting for us on Excel, and the person will be sharing his screen. Who can do that for us? Nobody. Okay, in that case.
Hello?
We can do it, but the network is not stable around my place. That's the reason why.
Hello?
Okay.
I can do it, but I need to switch to my laptop because I'm using my phone. Well, I tried to switch to my laptop, but I could not because the class is filled up already. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
But I can do it in terms of using my laptop.
What other option do we have?
Even though the groups are locked, so I don't think anybody can drop any solution on the group. I think.
Yes, you can't switch because the group is
Okay. That's it. Is since you guys are using your phones, you have to case. I think somebody have a volunteer. I feel that can you see my mouse? Unmute yourself, let's hear you.
I can do it, but I'm afraid of the network. The network is not stable in my place. So no.
I can see it.
I understand you, Mr. Somebody is asking now that can do. Okay, I'm aware of that.
Yes, I'm online.
Can you see my mouse now?
Yes.
Okay, you see this? See the place I'm touching now. On my screen.
Okay.
If you have this logo on your screen too, that is where you can share.
Yes, I have it.
See my pieces. So you can share from that place. I will have to stop presenting now. In fact,
Let me open my
need to log
Excel.
out. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm back in now. Okay. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So we don't know if Afizat has been able to. Afizat, are you?
So can you be explaining with your phone like that without sharing the
Okay.
screen?
Maybe that's what we will have to do. Okay. So let me open my phone. The question is May 26th. Okay. So let's continue this way. Okay, Afizat is already showing our screen for us. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see my screen now, please.
Yes, we can see your screen. So if you remember the items that we have posted, can you repost them? So we
Not
have
really. I don't
posted
have the
the
figures.
Okay.
Okay. You have posted
The first one, VAT receipt.
the VAT receipt.
Yeah, that is 1,721,500.
This go up. No, 1,721,250.
550.
Is it 500? It's 250.
Okay, it's okay.
It's 250. It's not 500.
Okay.
And then we did for
Allocation.
Statutory allocation.
That is 10,250. 125. Ten 12500.
1,000.
Miscellaneous revenue. $281,250. Personal income tax, direct tax.
Personal income tax, right?
Yes. 787500. 000. Yeah.
You need to put the other figure, the 2014 figure as well.
You can do that when you are practicing on your
Okay,
own.
for 2014, right?
I think we should leave that. You can do that when you are practicing on your own, so that our time will be we won't be spending too much time. Yes.
Okay. This way we stopped.
Okay. All right. So
this
moving forward.
We haven't. This one should be receipts, right?
Pardon?
Yeah, that is
yes. Those are so you have to get it
That
with
is receipt
cash flow
slash
from
revenue.
operating activities, and then receipts.
Cash inflow.
Cash
Cash flow from operating activities.
Cash flows from operating activities.
So you have to insert a line, a line.
A row, yeah. So
Yeah.
insert a row underneath.
Under.
No,
under the cash flow.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll do that now.
Okay. That would be inflow slash revenue.
Control Z.
Insert. Inflows slash revenue. Yes.
Or receipts. Slash receipts. Receipt, not revenue.
Receipts.
Okay. We are good to go now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so after taking the personal income tax, that we have received, we are looking for. Remember, we are looking for items that are receipts, items that indicate that money is being received by the government. So the next item on this list is the allocation of collection costs. That is for FIRS and customs. Now, is this a receipt or a payment?
It's a payment.
Okay, why is it a payment?
Because we're based on the statutory, what they used to collect, the cost of collection.
Okay.
So the cost of
Okay.
collection is expenses to government. So
Okay.
it's not revenue. They will remove it from the what it generated from VAT and others. So it's
Okay. Okay.
expenses.
So, all right. That's a good submission, but it's not a payment. This one is
Sir,
actually.
can we please have the question on the WhatsApp platform so that we can all be following?
I just sent it to group 7. Are you in group 7?
I don't even know the group. I will check if it's in that group.
I believe it's only people in group 7 that should say they don't have it, because we have
Okay.
shared
Group
it.
3 too. I didn't have it. Group
We have
3.
shared this several times on all the groups, so I don't know why you always every class ask for it. And I wonder how your phone will look. Your phone will be filled with all these materials. Every time we send it, you download it, and you say you don't have it again. Another class. I don't know. That's why I only sent it to group 7, because I believe they are the only ones that should say they don't have it. Maybe new people that are just joining. But anyway, um, so as I was saying, the the item that we have that we are seeing there is not a payment, it's a receipt. Now let me explain why it is a receipt. You know that when customs and FIRS collect revenue for government will pay them what is known as cost of collection. All right, but you see that cost of collection, it is a payment from the federation account. All right, is a payment for federation account. But the account we are preparing now is for federal government, not federation account. Now, can somebody tell us the difference between federation account and federal government account? Can anybody tell us the difference between federation account and federal government accounts?
Can I try, sir?
Yeah, yes, go ahead, try.
Okay. Federation account is account for both federal government, state government, and local government, where the funds are got in them before shared to each of them. While federal government account is strictly for that of the federal government.
Good, thank you very much. God bless you. So, the federation account, the cost of collection is a payment from federation account. But you know that when they want to pay the cost of collection, it is the federal government that will receive that, the one that belongs to custom and FRS. It is the federal government that will receive it on their behalf. It is the CBN that will, it will be with the CBN on behalf of custom and FRS. So when they want to spend it, they collect it from CBN, all right? So it's an inflow to federal government in that case, until when they want to pay it to the agencies that have those monies, that is when it will become an outflow. So in this case now, that transaction, that item is an inflow. So please post it as inflow. I'm trying to send those people that say they don't have the pathfinder. I'm trying to send to them.
What year is the question, please? Sorry.
Is May 2016, question 2.
Thank you.
Okay, has it been posted?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. the amount.
Yes, that's the amount, right? 2,306,250.
Okay. Now, the next item there. So let me quickly forward this thing to these people. I keep saying they don't have the past question. Okay. So the next item on that list is personnel costs. That one is obviously what? A payment. So we don't need it yet. The next item is share of statutory allocation. We have used that. CRF charges, that's Consolidated Revenue Fund charges. That is, those are the charges that were made from the Consolidated Revenue Fund account. Those are also payments. Then we have grants and subvention from foreign donors. So this also is an inflow. It means foreign donors sent money to the federal government to use. So this is one item of inflow that we need. That is 56,250. So please post that one as well. Okay. So the next item on that list is what? Rent from government properties. Rent from government properties. This is an inflow, but it's not an operating activities. All right? Because it is the rent that government gets from their non-current assets, their investments in properties. They invest in properties and then they receive rent from it. So this will be recognized as investing activity. Okay. So the next item there is overhead charges. This is the payment. MDA subvention, that is the subvention that the government pay to their ministries for them to run their activities. So it's a payment as well for the federal government. Sales of government property, the payment, and is even a investing activity item. Loans repayment, this is financing activity. Purchase and reconstruction of non-current assets, this is an investing activity. Proceed from sales of federal government properties, investing activity as well. Purchase of market securities, this is investment as well. Then cash at the beginning of the year, then proceed from loan and other borrowing, this is financing, and we have cash at the end of the year. So which means obviously we have exhausted all the inflows from operating activities. So we can have a total there. Have the next row there can be total inflow. So stability, okay, give us total inflow. Okay, then we now the next line will be outflows or payments. Outflows slash payments. Outflows slash payments. Good, thank you. So next thing is that we have to go back again, start from the top again, and find for our outflows that are operating activities. Okay, so from the first one, value added tax received, you have used that one. Miscellaneous revenue, you have used it. Personal income tax, we have used it. Allocation of cost of collections used. Then we have personnel costs. So this is an operating activity and this is an outflow. So we enter personnel costs. Let us post that one. 5,400,000. Okay, good. Then the next item, share of statutory allocation used, CRF charges. That's the next one. CRF charges. That's Consolidated Revenue Fund charges. That is the expenditures that were charged from the Consolidated Revenue Fund accounts. So it's a payment and it's a regular operating activity. That is 1,687,500. Posted. Okay. The next item there on that list is grants and subvention from foreign donors. We have used that one. Rent from government properties. We said that one is investing activities. Then we have overhead charges. Overhead charges are regular expenses.
This total is not correct too.
Which one?
The total info.
Statutory allocation is 10 million.
It's 10 million, and this one is 7 million. Personal income tax is 7,875,000, not 7,87,500.
Okay, 7,875,000.
Yes.
5,000. Yes. Okay, please, Mr. Abdulatif, please correct that one. That's personal income tax. Yes. Good. Okay. Are we good to go now? Okay. So
yes, sir.
Next item we have is so after CRF charges we have done that, grant from foreign donors done, rent done. So overhead charges is next. Overhead charges is 1,125,000. Please post that. Overhead charges 1,125,000. Okay. And then to the next one, which is MDA's subvention. That is the money that were given to ministries and agencies for them to run their activities. So it's a payment. We are paying out money as well. So MDA subvention 1,350,000. Okay, thank you. Then sale of government properties is investing, loans repayments. So I think that's the last item of payment that relates to operating activities on that list. So which means you can now have a total outflow. They go for total outflow as well. Okay, good. So then we now have net cash flows from operating activities. Okay, so which will now be the difference, that is 22,365 minus the 9,562. Good. Yeah, thank you. So we can now move forward to the next segment, which is cash flows from investing activities. So the next row will be cash flows from investing activities.
Okay.
Okay, so for this part, you don't need to separate whether inflow or outflow. You can just bring all of them together. The only thing is that the outflows will be identified by putting them in brackets. The inflows will be left normal so that by the time you are adding up, you have the correct addition. So let's go back to our question and see the items of investing activities that we can identify from this question. If you remember, we said investing activities are activities that has to do with purchase or acquisition or disposal of non-current assets, or that the entity engaged from the beginning. Used almost all the items at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, personnel costs, we have used all that. Share of statutory, CRF charges, grants. So we have rent from government properties. That is the rent they receive from the properties that they have invested in. Maybe they have invested in properties and maybe they built estates or they built shopping complex, and then they are earning rent from it. So that is an inflow from investing activity. So post it, rents from government properties, 281, 250. Okay.
No, it's not correct, sir.
Which one is not correct?
The rent from government property is 213.
213,750.
213,750.
Okay, where did I see 281? Sorry, it's another figure
Sales
than
of
I.
government properties.
It's another figure than my eyes is seeing, Jai. Okay, sales as my eyes is. Okay, sorry. Rent from government properties 213,750. So, thank you for that observation. Then we have overhead charges, we have used that, subvention, we have used that. So we now have the sales of government properties, which is 281, 250. Okay. I'm talking in the future. Don't mind me.
We understand. We understand.
Okay. So all right, the next item on our list, loans repayment, that we said that is a financing activity. So we have purchases and reconstruction of non-current assets. So this is an investing activity. That is, they are both non-current assets or they are reconstructed some non-current assets. And that is investing in assets, non-current assets. So that's an investing activity, but it is an outflow, right? 1,875,000. It is an outflow. So it's going to be in parentheses. You put that in bracket. Just put minus. Okay. All right. So the next item.
So I have a question, please.
Okay, go ahead.
If it has been a purchase of current asset, it will be under operating activity, right?
Yes, most likely.
Okay, thank you.
So, proceed from sales of government properties this time. So, proceeds, that is, they are receiving money from selling some of the properties that they have. So, this in this case is also an investing activity and is an inflow. 787,500. 787,500. Okay. So we also have purchase of market securities. This is also investment. What are market securities? That is, how do I put it? Investment items, liquid investment items like shares like bonds and so on. So those are market securities. So it's an investment, and so it's going to be an item under investing activities. And they are buying, so which means they are paying out money. So in that case, it's an outflow. It's going to be in brackets. Also posted. Okay, good. Then cash and cash equivalents at the beginning. Okay, proceeds from loan. That is financing. So that is that is all on investing activities as well. Okay, so a quick tip: if you are doing this normally in the exam, you are using paper, not screen like you are using. So ensure that everyone that you have done, you are ticking it out. You are ticking it out so that you don't mistakenly pick one transaction twice. That you're not posting one item in operating at the same time, you're posting it in investing at the same time, and you are not missing out anyone. So if you are ticking it at the end of the day, before you do your final balancing, you check, is there anyone that are not ticked? So these are one of the tips of how you do this. Because of tension, sometimes you just overlook some transactions. So we have net cash flow from investing activities. Good. Okay, that's a negative cash flow, right? Okay. Then our next line will now be cash flows from financing activities. Okay. Now let's go back to our question. Who is raising hand? Yeah, quickly say what you want to say.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
The balancing figure we are getting here, I'm expecting it to be cash flow used in investing activity. It says it is a negative figure.
To
If
be
I'm
what?
correct, sir.
You're expecting it to be what?
Cash flow used in investing activities. Since the balancing figure there is a negative and not positive.
No. You know that figure was arrived at after. If you say used, it means that spent. All right, but it was arrived at after we have considered the ones they spent and the ones they received. Okay, so the net is what we have there, and since it's showing negative, is already indicating that they spent more than they received. Quite all right. So if you can still call it net cash flows from investing activities, or if you don't want to use that, if you are not comfortable with using uh, that language, you can call it net cash outflow. And that will indicate that the outflow is more than the inflow. So you say net cash outflow. But if you still call it net cash flow, it's still correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So now for financing activities, you now look at the items that has to do with whether they are collecting loans or they are paying loans or they are paying back loans. So from the beginning, if you look at it all down here, I'm not seeing anyone that looks like they are receiving loan until I saw loan repayments. Okay, loan repayments, that is under sales of government properties. Loan repayments of 652,500. So they're paying back loans, so it's an outflow. Thank you. Okay. After that, we have purchase of current assets, proceeds from properties, purchase of market securities, cash and cash equivalent, then proceed from loans and other borrowings. Proceed from loans and other borrowings. That is the loans that they collected, the money they received. Okay. That's 2,250,000. Okay. And so those are the only two financing activities that we have. So we can do the total for that one as well to be net cash flow from financing activities. So we can see that we have used almost all the items that we have, except maybe like two now that we have not touched. So the next line now will now be the addition of the three nets, the net from operating activities, the net from financing activities, and the net from investing activities. You add the three of them together. Let me see, people in YouTube, maybe they are saying anything. Okay, we are good to go, right? So this is no, is that the addition of the three of them? It's giving us that 13 million, right? So we call that one the net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalents for the year. Net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalents for the year. In short form, you can also call it net cash flow for the year. Sometimes they call it net cash generated for the year. Okay, so any one of these that you call it is good. You may want to wrap that column. No, you don't need to extend it too much so that you can just wrap that cell. Mr. Abdulatif. Okay. Anyway, all right. You are. So the next is to bring in our net, our cash and cash equivalents at the beginning of the year. Now, what this one is saying is that all the cash we receive and all the cash we have spent in this year, this is the balance, 13,432. So you now ask, okay, how much cash do we have when we wanted to start the year? We will now bring it in, and that is what is in the question where we said that is the third line from the bottom. Cash and cash equivalents, January 1, 2015, like at the beginning of the year. That's 2,812,500. 2,812,500. Two million 812,500. Okay, good. So you add that together, and you should have cash and cash equivalents at the end of the year. So if you go and check the question, is this the same figure that we have in the question as cash and cash equivalents at December 31, 2015?
Yeah,
Yes, it's the
correct.
same figure.
Yeah, it's same
So
thing.
so that is
16245.
that is one thing about cash flow statements. As you prepare it, your judgment is there for you to see whether you are correct or not. So that is the step-by-step way of preparing the cash flow statement. The three headings, like I said earlier, the most the toughest task of this thing is for you to identify the headings where you will put each item. And the easiest way to go around it is to make sure that you master items of financing very well, master items of investing very well. If you master these two very well, you know that the remainder is operating. All right, because this one is even much is more is simpler than the one we have in FR, where you have so much adjustment. You can also have adjustments in this one too. Then there's one past question as well, where the cash flow statement requires that you have to do some adjustments in the additional information. So, but pretty much this is just the way to go about it. So I would like us to look at the Pathfinder as well, see if you can get any other past question on cash flow statements and try your hands on it. The one we did last week, I'm very happy that some of you guys have tried other questions on statement of financial performance, statement of financial position. Some of you guys have tried other questions apart from the one we did in class, and a couple of them reached out to me when they had some challenges, which I was very glad to explain to them. So don't just wait for the only ones we do in class. After we do some in class, try and take your Pathfinder, scatter it, look for other questions, attempt those questions as well, so that if you have difficulties, you reach out to somebody to explain to you, and then to be very clear for you to solve on your own next time. Please let us give round of applause to Mr. Abdulatif for helping us out tonight. Mr. Abdulatif, thank you very much for we are almost we are about to say, okay, maybe we should postpone the class, but Mr. Abdulatif said David is a liar and took charge. He saved us the from my battery. I wanted to embarrass us. Thank you very much. So, any questions? If you have any questions before we call it a day.
Sir, can you please help us share the syllabus?
The syllabus. Okay. All right, no problem. We'll share the syllabus. We'll share it
So,
again.
I have a question.
So solution be sent to the group.
Yes, Mr. Abdulatif will do that. We will send it. We will
Okay,
send it to.
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I've opened the group. Maybe you should send it to my DM. Anyway, I'll open the group so that people that are watching from YouTube as well, if they have questions, they can be able to drop it, and then we'll address it. So the group will be open till maybe 12 noon tomorrow.
Unless
any issues. So yeah, please go ahead with your
Good evening,
question.
sir. Okay,
Good
thank you.
evening,
I
ma'am.
want to ask, in the government parastatal, is it only direct cash flow that they deal with, or both direct and indirect?
Yes, they can prepare both, but we said then they can, maybe you joined late. We said that the IPSAS board, you know what IPSAS board is? The International Public Sector Accounting Standards Board. That is a branch uh, of the International Accounting Standard Board. They recommend, they are the one that they are issue standards for public sector accounting, the IPSAS. So they recommend that government sectors, government institutions should use the direct method. So I also believe that it's based on that recommendation. That is why the I think a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times or more, that I can have also tested the cash flow statement in PSAF. They they specifically requested for the direct method. So they decide to leave the indirect for the FR. You notice that for those that are doing FR, you notice that they don't usually ask for direct method in FR. It's not common. They usually have, most of the time they ask for indirect. So that's why I think that's why in PSAF they are asking for direct, since it is the recommendation of the IPSAS board. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Then my second question, I know in FR there is always additional information for the cash flow, but in PSAF, is there additional information, or it will just be straight the way it was, this one that we treated?
Ah, I'm not an examiner in this, or I can know. There can be additional information, of course. There is one other question that has additional information. My system is down. So if you check the notes I shared for this topic on preparation of financial statements, I left some past question reference at the bottom of that note. If you check it, there should be another cash flow statement question there, and I think that one have additional information if you check it. So if you can
Lastly,
go and
sorry, if you can help to resend it.
November
I just
2021.
formatted my phone, and I don't have all the notes. I don't have it on my system again. Even I have to beg on the platform to send the timetable.
It's all right, no problem. So
Thank you, sir.
tomorrow we'll
Thank you, sir.
share everything shareable again for those that are just joining, and those that have lost them. Everything shareable that we have shared before in the past, we will share them again tomorrow, inshallah. Somebody is raising hand again. I saw somebody, Latif Subiru something, raising hand.
Sorry, sir. Can I ask a
Hello,
question?
sir.
Yes, go ahead, earlier.
Okay, that I don't know if you can screw up under the operating activity where they said thank you allocation, statutory allocation.
Yes.
Isn't it supposed to be outflow? Isn't it that they are giving out, like, I'm a little bit confused about that.
Okay. Can somebody explain? Let somebody attempt to answer that question. Somebody should
Can
try to
I
answer that.
can I chip in?
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the statutory allocation is the allocation from the traditional account to the federal government account. So it's an inflow to the federal government account. So that's why we are treating it as cash inflow from operating activities.
Thank you. I get it now.
Thank you. The account we are preparing is for
It's
federal
for federal.
government.
Yes, it's for federal. I just say thank you, sir.
Okay. So if that is all the questions we have,
Hello, sir.
okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Good
All right,
evening,
go
sir.
ahead. Good evening,
Good
ma'am.
evening, sir. Thank you so much for the class. Please, I
You're
want
welcome.
to ask, I'm just joining this class. this week. I just got attached to the group on Sunday. So all that you've said you've sent to the group, I don't have access to it. Please, can you do me a favor? Maybe some of the materials and the ones you've done, if you can repost it on the platform, please, sir.
Okay, no problem. I've said it. I will share everything shareable tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
So, on that note, I think this is a convenient spot for us to end the class. Let me see if there's any question on YouTube before we close the class. 2014. Okay, so I don't think there's any question that needs to be attended. So if there's any other question, the group will be open till 12 noon tomorrow. You can drop it on the group
Thank
so
you,
that we
sir.
can attend
God
to
bless.
it, and then all the materials that needs to be shared will be shared. So thank you very much for joining, for not being discouraged when my battery said want to show me shaggy. And thank you to Mr. Abiati for saving us out. All right. See you again. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good night.
God bless
Let's
you.
call Mr. Tope to stop the recording.
Today is a good day.
Good
Mr.
night.
Aziz did not get angry.
Do I usually get angry?
Ablative,
No, like you're so calm.
Ablative, let's chat on
So,
WhatsApp.
Madam, do I usually get angry?
no, when you're stressed out now, tired.
Really? Okay.
Thank you very much.
God bless.
Good night.
Good night.